Have you noticed empty shelves at your local Loblaws or Sobeys? It's not your imagination. Canadian grocery stores are facing the worst supply disruptions since the pandemic, with food prices jumping 14% just this quarter. Port strikes in Vancouver, extreme cold across the prairies, and global shipping chaos are creating a perfect storm. In this video, I'm revealing the 10 grocery items that will completely vanish from Canadian stores before February ends. These aren't random predictions, they're based on real supplier warnings, inventory reports, and agricultural data. Stock up now, especially number 7. That one shocked me. Let's get into it. Number 1, olive oil. If you've shopped at Metro or Save on Foods lately, you've seen olive oil prices skyrocket. The Mediterranean just suffered its worst harvest in 40 years. Spain and Italy, supplying 60% of global olive oil, saw production drop 35%. Extreme heat waves literally cooked olives on branches, with temperatures hitting 46 degrees Celsius for weeks. Then, autumn floods in Italy destroyed more crops. Extra virgin olive oil will be hardest to find because it requires perfect olives. Prices jumped 45% since November, and experts predict another 30% increase by month's end. Canadian importers are struggling because we rely entirely on imports for olive oil. What can you do? Grab bottles now and store them in a cool, dark place. For alternatives, try avocado oil for high heat cooking or walnut oil for salads. This shortage lasts minimum 6 months until new harvests arrive. Number 2, chocolate and cocoa. That $3 chocolate bar at Shoppers Drug Mart, now it's $5.50 and smaller. Cocoa prices exploded 78% this year. West Africa produces 70% of the world's cocoa, and they're facing their worst growing season in decades. Ghana and Ivory Coast reported a 30% production drop last month. Trees are struggling with aging plants, extreme heat, and a fungal disease destroying entire farms. Major companies like Hershey's and Nestle are shrinking products while raising prices. But here's what store managers won't tell you. By month's end, many chocolate products won't be available at any price. High-quality dark chocolate, cocoa powder for baking, and Easter treats will be hardest to find. Companies are prioritizing bestsellers and cutting everything else. One supplier told Canadian retailers to expect only 40% of normal chocolate inventory. Your best bet? Stock up on your favorite chocolate bars and cocoa powder now. They store well in cool, dry places for months. Or consider carob products which taste similar but aren't facing shortages. Number 3, certain citrus fruits. Your morning orange juice might become a luxury by February's end. Florida's citrus production hit a 90-year low after 3 hurricanes devastated groves. Orange harvests are down 63% compared to last year. Canada imports most citrus from the US and Spain, and both regions are in crisis. Spain and Italy suffered the hottest winter on record. Their lemon production collapsed by nearly half. Those Meyer lemons you love for baking? They'll vanish first. Importers are prioritizing commercial customers over grocery stores, so restaurants might have lemons while your local No Frills has empty bins. Grapefruit will be hit particularly hard, with prices already jumping 45% since January. One major chain warned their suppliers can't guarantee deliveries past mid-February. Blood oranges and key limes are almost impossible to find already. The citrus crisis affects everything from marmalades to flavored seltzers. If you live in BC, you might see some local options slightly longer, but expect to pay triple last year's prices. Your best bet? Buy extra and freeze the juice. Stock up on frozen concentrate while it's still available. Some people are preserving whole citrus by dehydrating them. Trust me, you'll thank yourself when oranges hit $15 a bag next month. Number 4, coffee. Bad news, coffee lovers, your Tim Hortons run is about to get more expensive. Global coffee production hit its lowest point in 8 years. Brazilian farms supplying 40% of the world's coffee are struggling with the worst drought in decades. Soil conditions are so dry that young coffee plants aren't surviving, meaning this shortage extends well beyond 2026. Colombia's coffee farmers faced devastating floods, destroying 30% of crops. In Vietnam, labor shortages mean beans are rotting on trees. Climate change is hitting coffee hard. Plants are incredibly sensitive to temperature changes. Major retailers like Loblaws and Metro have started limiting purchases to 2 bags per customer. Second Cup and Starbucks announced price increases averaging 18% starting this week. Premium beans from your favorite local roaster? They're getting hit hardest because small roasters can't compete with big corporations when supplies are tight. Arabica beans, that smooth coffee most Canadians prefer, will disappear first. Experts predict by mid-February many stores will be completely out of premium options. Robusta beans with a stronger, bitter taste might still be available, but at double the price. If you're a coffee drinker, grab your favorite beans now and store them in your freezer. They'll stay fresh for months in an airtight container. Or consider switching to tea temporarily. Tea production hasn't been hit nearly as hard. Number 5. Wild seafood. Canadian seafood lovers, your fish and chips might be in trouble. Fisheries and Oceans Canada just announced the strictest fishing restrictions in 15 years. These are emergency measures to prevent complete collapse of certain fish populations. Ocean temperature changes are pushing species into unfamiliar territories where traditional fishing methods can't reach them. Wild-caught BC salmon is first on the chopping block. Pacific Salmon Fisheries announced a 60% reduction in permits, citing dangerously low population counts. Those beautiful sockeye fillets? Expect them to vanish from Costco and Save-On Foods by mid-month. Salmon have faced consecutive years of declining spawning numbers. The Fraser River recorded its lowest salmon return in decades, with only 38% of expected fish making it back to breeding grounds. Prices jumped 30% in February alone. Atlantic lobster from the Maritimes isn't faring better. Warming waters have forced lobsters to migrate northward. Industry insiders predict lobster could hit $50 per pound by late February, if you can find it at all. East Coast crab is another casualty. The snow crab season got cut short by 6 weeks, with commercial catch down 62% from historical averages. What can you actually still buy? Farm-raised salmon and tilapia should remain steady. These controlled environments aren't affected by ocean changes, though feed costs are driving prices up 10 to 15%. Frozen seafood will stick around longer, but expect climbing prices. If seafood is a staple in your home, stock your freezer now. Check local fish markets or Chinese supermarkets like T&T, which often source from different supply chains. Remember, properly wrapped fish lasts 4 to 6 months frozen. Number 6. Premium rice varieties. Walk into any Walmart or Real Canadian Superstore and head to the rice aisle. You might find empty spots where your favorite basmati or jasmine rice used to be. The world is experiencing one of the worst rice shortages in decades. Global rice shortfall reached 8.5 million metric tons, the biggest deficit since 2004. What's causing this? A perfect storm of climate change, extreme weather, government export restrictions, and supply chain disruptions. India, the world's largest rice exporter, has restricted exports multiple times since 2022. This sent shockwaves through global markets. India banned non-basmati white rice exports last year, causing panic in countries relying on Indian imports. The ban was partially lifted, but with a catch: India set a minimum export price, making rice far more expensive. Canada imports significant rice amounts from India, Thailand, and Vietnam, all facing export restrictions. Which varieties are most at risk? Basmati and jasmine rice? These premium varieties are becoming harder to find and more expensive. Prices for good quality basmati at stores like Freshco have jumped 25% since December. Brown rice is also facing scarcity because it has a shorter shelf life. Producers are prioritizing white rice. What can you do? Stock up on rice while prices are still reasonable. Consider diversifying with other grains like quinoa or barley, which are less affected. If you rely on rice as a staple, grab a few extra bags now because restocking won't be easy. Number 7. Fresh berries. Remember when you could grab strawberries at Safeway for $4.99? Those days are gone. Fresh berries are about to become luxury items, and here's why. California's berry belt experienced its driest winter in 15 years, with rainfall 42% below average. Mexico's berry exports, which normally fill Canada's winter gap, are down 35%. Labor shortages left thousands of acres unharvested. What does this mean for Canadian shoppers? Strawberries will likely hit $12 per pound by mid-February if you can find them. Blueberries aren't faring better, with prices expected to reach $9 for a tiny container. Organic raspberries? Grocery buyers are planning to reduce berry shelf space by 40% because wholesale prices crossed profitability thresholds. Your best bet? Head to the frozen section now. Frozen berries still reflect last season's pricing, and they're nutritionally comparable to fresh. Stock up while you can, because frozen varieties will see price hikes once current inventory depletes. Some shoppers are buying fresh berries and freezing them at home. Smart move considering what's coming. If you need fresh berries, try farmers markets or local greenhouses in Ontario or BC. You'll pay a premium, but at least you'll find something. Number 8. Specialty flours. Picture this, you're at Bulk Barn or Whole Foods, ready to bake your favorite gluten-free bread. You head to the flour section and it's wiped out. No almond flour, coconut flour is overpriced, and oat flour is scarce. Specialty flours are vanishing, and if you rely on them, start stocking up now. Why is this happening? Specialty flours rely on ingredients sourced globally. Almond flour depends on California almond production, which has been devastated by droughts. Coconut flour comes from tropical regions facing climate change and rising transportation costs. Getting these ingredients to Canadian stores on time at reasonable prices is nearly impossible. Wheat shortages are pushing up costs of all flour-based products. With wheat prices fluctuating due to poor prairie harvests and international conflicts, alternative flours once considered niche are in higher demand. The health food movement has exploded. More Canadians than ever are avoiding traditional wheat flour. The global specialty flour market is expected to hit over $13 billion in 2025, growing at 10% annually. But here's the problem. Production isn't growing at the same speed. Which flours are hardest to find? Almond flour. Drought severely impacted production, making it expensive and scarce. Coconut flour, imports from tropical regions, have slowed due to rising costs. Oat flour, increased demand from gluten-free trends led to limited availability. Chickpea and cassava flour, popularity in plant-based diets drove demand beyond supplier capacity. What's the solution? Buy in bulk when possible. If you find your flour in stock, grab extra bags. Many flours store well in airtight containers. Consider substitutes. Can't find almond flour? Try sunflower seed flour. No oat flour. Blend rolled oats at home. Check local mills or farmers markets for alternatives. Order online. Retailers like Amazon Canada sometimes have stock when local stores don't. Number 9. Premium meat cuts. This one hits hard if you're planning special meals. Certain meat cuts are vanishing fast from Sobeys, Metro, and Loblaws. Meat processing costs jumped 17% since January, crushing smaller Canadian processors. 2 major facilities in Alberta shut down last month. The biggest problem? Labor shortages. Processing plants operate at just 72% capacity because they can't find workers, down from 88% last year. What's disappearing first? Prime ribeye steaks and beef tenderloin will be nearly impossible to find. Current inventory is down 43% compared to last year. If you're planning Valentine's Day dinner, buy and freeze these cuts now. Pork shoulder is another casualty. It's popular for smoking and slow cooking, but supply can't keep up. Warehouse stocks dropped by over half in 8 weeks. Surprisingly, chicken wings are facing shortages too. With hockey playoffs and spring gatherings coming up, demand is skyrocketing while production struggles. Industry analysts predict prices will double by mid-February. Your best bet? Consider less popular cuts like chuck roast, pork loin, or chicken thighs. They're more available and cheaper. Visit local butchers who source from nearby farms. They're seeing fewer disruptions than major supply chains. Don't say I didn't warn you when you're staring at empty meat cases next month. Number 10. Dairy alternatives. Plant-based milk drinkers, your oat milk might disappear. Dairy alternatives are flying off shelves at Whole Foods and Loblaws faster than production can keep up. Several major plant-based milk producers reported manufacturing shutdowns in January due to equipment shortages. Parts needed for processing machines are backordered until June if shipping improves. Almond milk is hit hardest. California's drought devastated almond crops with yields down 31%. Farmers warn February harvest was the worst in a decade. Canadian brands relying on California almonds are scrambling. Oat milk isn't safe either. 3 of 5 largest oat milk brands paused production of certain flavors to focus on basic varieties. Organic versions will disappear first. It's not just milk. Plant-based yogurts and cheeses are vanishing too. Specialized cultures for fermentation are in short supply after a European supplier faced contamination issues. What's driving this? Demand is exploding. Plant-based dairy sales jumped 27% last quarter, while production capacity only grew 8%. The math doesn't work. If you depend on these products for allergies or dietary needs, stock up now while you can. Grab shelf-stable versions when possible. Consider learning to make your own oat milk. It's easier than you think, and you'll thank me in March when store shelves are empty. Well, there you have it. These 10 grocery items are already vanishing from Canadian stores and will be completely gone by February's end. From olive oil to chocolate, citrus to coffee, and those dairy alternatives many depend on. I'm not telling you this to panic you. I'm sharing it so you can prepare. Stock up smartly on these essentials now, especially if they're staples in your household. Consider alternatives where possible. This might be the perfect time to try new recipes or brands. The good news? These shortages won't last forever, but being prepared saves you stress, time, and money. If this helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more practical advice on navigating today's challenging grocery landscape. Drop a comment with any items you've noticed disappearing in your area. Stay prepared, shop smart, and I'll see you in the next video.